Good morning this morning. I am Rochelle Hunter Mosley, and this is Shit Ain't the Same. Y'all know I always try to have really, really good guests where we can learn some things. You know, sometimes we cry, sometimes we laugh, but I had to invite Michelle Smalls. They call her the Queen of Harlem, and y'all gonna find out why they call her the Queen of Harlem today. Michelle.
Hi, Rochelle. How are
Thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I've been trying to, we were trying to link up for so long. It's been a long time. And I've been trying to get you on. You've been trying to get me on. And so we're here today.
Yeah,
We're here today. And we're here in the city today. We're here in the city today.
Yes.
So I know that you do a lot of stuff, right?
Okay.
But before we get into everything, before we get into all that, I have an icebreaker question. If I'm looking through the dictionary, under what word would I see your picture?
Unexplainable.
Unexplainable.
Because I always evolve. So I can't what I am today, I might not be tomorrow.
And I tell people that all the time. It's like I feel like as a woman, 'cause I'm only speaking from a woman's point of view, we wake up all the time different.
Yeah.
We wake up every single day different, and yesterday ain't gonna be like today.
Exactly.
You know, like they say, yesterday's price ain't today's price. So.
Exactly. Yeah. So what you say yesterday, I just completely might not be that.
It's not, right?
And and it's contingent on how people treat me. And so it's like, I can say that I'm nice, but then somebody else might say I'm not nice.
Right.
So it's contingent on the energy that you give me. That's what I give back.
Right.
So I don't try to classify myself in like one thing because I might be different to someone else.
Right. And putting yourself in a box.
Right.
There's a lot of people, I see a lot of people trying to put themselves in a box when they're, well, I'm going to say in a box when they're trying to be something that they're not.
Exactly.
To fit in with a certain group of people.
Exactly.
But I know that people will see like your social media, or they'll see, the things that you're doing. They think one thing, but then after meeting you, it's a whole nother.
Yeah, I get that so much. It's like I'm so weird. It's actually so weird. Yeah, like they be like I'm mean. I'm nothing like what people say.
Yeah, and people say the same thing about me. I'm just about my business.
Yeah,
like I'm not,
and I don't have time for certain things. So.
So in dealing with people, right, in all your businesses. So let's talk about all the business first.
Okay.
So you do real estate.
Yes.
You have a real estate company.
Yes.
You have a salon.
Yes. And honestly speaking, Rochelle, I truly admire you. My salon came from actually you. My grandma was living in projects, 2199. You had Salon 804 right across the street. It was you. It was a girl named Michelle as well who was doing here. And I used to be like, she's so dope.
Wow, thank you.
Literally, I don't know how to do hair. But I was like, watching you, I was like, I'm going to get me a salon.
You want a salon, okay.
And eventually, I ended up getting a salon. I still don't know how to do hair.
Yeah.
But
you got
but it was just, it was just so refreshing seeing a Black girl just come and open her own business. And, everybody come in and enjoy. It was just like so refreshing.
Right.
And it's like you inspire people without even knowing you expired.
Oh, thank you.
Inspire, yeah.
Thank you.
So,
I appreciate that.
We watched you for years, and you would color Chanel here, you would color my Aunt Tanya here.
Right.
It's like they have orange here one day, green here. So you just set a trend there, and it was just like so refreshing to see a Black-owned business.
Thank you.
So,
I appreciate that. So since we're on entrepreneurship, right? And you say that you don't actually do hair. What is that like to invest in a company that you don't really have the skill set to do?
It's horrible.
It's horrible.
It was horrible in the beginning, but now like they have salon suites, so it's easier for me to rent booths versus people working for me.
Right.
So it's a lot easier. But when I initially opened, I opened because it was a guy named Vaughn who was doing my hair.
Okay, I know Vaughn. Okay.
And they were closing a salon that he was working in, but they didn't give him a notice.
Right.
And I was sitting in a chair, and I was like, you know what? If I open a salon, would you run it? And he was like, yeah. So I dumped, Rochelle, you dump a lot. I dumped like about $100,000 in there.
See, and that's what I'm talking about, right? You have to have some disposable income to be able to invest in a company that you cannot physically do yourself.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's what have kept me afloat, because I'm actually a hairdresser.
Right.
So if everybody leave, I can
You
still work.
Yeah, you can still work.
You see what I'm saying? So after that investment, you said about $100,000
It was
you put
like,
into.
like 120.
Right.
And sad to say, Vaughn ended up getting cancer. So I have this salon. I invested all my money into it, and it's just not doing well. So he ended up getting some other people to work in there.
Right.
They end up working, and then it's like you have somebody this week, you don't have them that week, and then when you have a good flow, one get mad because she get more clients than the other. So it's just
it's a lot.
So it was like a disaster, and then but it was a good learning experience.
Right.
So I knew how to handle all my next ventures because I knew what I dealt with that.
Right.
So and then I started like just dumping out my real estate money into that because I didn't want people to say she failed. She opened a salon and she closed it. So I didn't want people to say she failed. So I'm dumping major money into this that's ground zero.
Exactly.
I'm not even making the money, but I'm spending it.
I went through that same thing, when I closed Salon 804, when it was, when I had a big salon. And I was so hell-bent on people thinking that, feeling like I failed.
Right.
Oh, her husband is not here. Oh, this and that, and it was just so much going on, and I was putting out so much money. I couldn't spend no time with my kids. I was working 7 days a week. All my money was going in there before I could even pay my own bills. And then once I decided to walk away from having a big salon, I just got a little small spot, in New Jersey and in New York. And I'm telling you, it has opened up so much more for me. A lot more for me in terms of my time.
Yeah.
And
the sanity.
Yes. It's like having a whole bunch of kids.
Yeah.
Like I have kids at home and I got kids at work. So it's just super hard. Super hard. So how were you able to pivot?
So Vaughn ended up, moving. He moved to Buffalo and opened his own salon in there. And then I started renting booths.
Okay.
And when I rent booths, I wasn't responsible. Like, I didn't make their problem my problem.
Exactly.
I come here. This is your business. Pay me weekly. And you do what you want. See, before it was like commission. So I had to make sure they have enough clients and make sure that they customer service. But then it was weird because they didn't say, if they come in the salon, they didn't say, well, this person did my hair bad. They said, I went to Michelle's salon.
Exactly. I tell people that all the time. It's 804. It's Michelle did it. And that's in every one of your businesses. It's Michelle did it.
Yeah, it's not that person.
Right.
So, once and then I started getting them into the opening their own thing. Like, you know what? This is yours. You have to be responsible for it. Yeah. So I stopped attaching my name to other people because I know people's not going to do what I want them to do.
Right.
Or they're not going to live up to my standards. And if they don't, that's on you. Exactly. It's not on me.
Exactly.
So I stopped. I just dropped people problems. And once I dropped people problems, life has begun.
100%.
And then, I had a couple of girls that...
Wait, I like that. But let's not skip over that. Once we drop people problems, life began.
Good, yeah.
I like that. I like that because I know me. I hold on to people problems, and especially because hair has, and your head has energy. So if I'm doing your hair, I can feel your energy. Right. I can feel what's, after 35 years, I can feel when something is wrong. I can tell when something is wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So when you're picking up that energy from people, it just, I still don't know how to decompress.
Yeah, I've learned to protect my space.
Right.
I protect my space, because even with real estate, I would have clients who they get on Instagram, they talk about me. Oh, I ain't getting no apartment, but then I have 50 clients who got an apartment. So I don't let their energy, like maybe God don't want you to have an apartment right now, but you're not going to make that my problem.
Exactly.
Because I do very good with real estate. So it's like, learning how to leave baggage where it is, leave people with their problems, that was the best thing because you'll say on the thing on Instagram, oh, she didn't give me an apartment, and my heart would be broken. And I'm like, that's not my problem. You understand? Like, maybe God put her in this position because there's a reason why she's not getting it. There's a reason why every realtor that you work with, something happens. Exactly. That's your problem.
Exactly.
Maybe you need to change your energy. So I protect my energy now. And I'm telling you, life has been so much better for me.
So much better for you.
So much better. And then if something don't work, I detach myself. Like, I'm the quickest person to speak to and the quickest person not to speak to.
Exactly.
Like, if you don't speak to me, I don't care.
You don't care.
I don't care. I'm not going to. And then it's no spin a block.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When we stop speaking, you got to stay there.
Mm-hmm. No spinning the block.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I say. If it didn't work out, it just didn't work
for
out.
a reason.
It's cool. We ain't got to fight about it.
Yeah, like, I'm
way
not
too
going to argue
old for that.
Yeah. It's just we don't. I mean, and people don't understand. It's okay. Some people are just not meant to get along.
Yeah.
And it's not like you a bad person and or she's a bad person. It's just y'all don't mix.
Yeah. Exactly. And what she said, don't spin the block.
Yeah, I don't spin the block. if you don't speak to me, stay there.
And my thing I say is that I don't put on no wear old shoes.
Yeah.
Them old shoes hurt.
Yeah.
I don't want
Then you got to revisit all the problems or the negativity. Nah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with your real estate, right? I see, I follow you on Instagram. I enjoy seeing you make people happy. I notice that you find joy in making people happy. But when you get these people, these apartments, I feel like I got goosebumps right now. I'm just like, oh my God, somebody else got a It's like, it's gratifying to me. But how does it make you feel?
It's the best feeling in the world. Mm-hmm. Like, I have a house deal and I make so much money on a house, but I go to the programs. Mm-hmm. Like, the kids, they do something to me, like watching them go in and turn a key and, they tear up or they call me. Like, I got so many letters with appreciation. So it's not even about the money.
Right.
It's about, I slept on the floor before, so I know how I feel on the floor. Mm. So to get somebody from where I was at and to put them in permanent housing is just like a different feeling to me. Mm. So it's not even about the money.
Right.
Like, you understand? Like, they don't understand. I can make so much more money doing something else.
Right.
But I just choose to. I mean, and it's, like, God forbid, say we make money right now in Rochelle. Mm-hmm. We might buy a bag. We might buy something, but it goes away.
Right.
Those little kids, like, 5 years from now, I could look back and that's like, I could have it be down and it just make my day 100% better.
Right. Right.
So
I love that. Like, I do love hearing that. Even when I started doing my dinners on Fifth Avenue and my Christmas and stuff like that, and then just to see you do it, it's like, I love that you have taken it to a whole nother level. I love it. I love seeing it. I love seeing the smiles on the kids' faces, the parents' faces, and everything. And I'm just like, this started off as a small dream for me.
It was a small
dream for me, and then just to see how you have taken it and just took it to a whole nother level, it's just
literally. I was in the salon, and it was this little boy. He was an African little boy, and he was walking by the salon, and it was cold. It was freezing out. I was like, "Go put on your coat," and he turned around. He's like, "I don't have one." So it's like, I thought he was being,
funny, like he was trying to be
like
bad.
One of them bad kids or whatever the case may be. He was like, "He don't have one." And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a coat drive this year. So I called all my friends. I was like, donate. I was like, don't buy me nothing. Donate. A coat. And we ended up having maybe like 100 and something coats.
Wow.
And I did my first coat drive in the salon that day because of the little boy. And the little boy, he's so different because he came to the coat drive and he brought his family. And it's weird because he was like maybe like 10. And his siblings might have been like 8, 7. They were younger than him. And when he came in, I was like, get your coat, because I had like a bunch of stuff set up. He was like, no, I want to make sure my siblings are good first, and I get one last. And I was just like,
They were younger than him.
Yeah. Wow. I was like, and he couldn't have been more than 10. And I was just like, you don't have to be grown to understand, how to take care of people and how to, how to be a good person.
Yeah.
He really changed the way that I look and my perspective of things.
Right.
Like, it's like he's a kid. No, he knows.
But just talking about like, him being 10, I left my mother's house when I was 15. And I never looked back. I never thought about going back home. And I, as I got older, and I see, kids on the street, and I see even raising my own kids, I'm like, how in the hell
did I do it?
I doing this? My janitor in my high school got me and my best friend an apartment
Okay.
I was in 10th grade. And she got us that apartment, and all she asked us to do, just if we had a problem with the rent, to let her know. And we were just rocking and rolling. My best friend, she had a job at the supermarket, and I was doing hair in the house. And I think our rent was maybe like $400 or something like that. It wasn't nothing crazy, but we had our own spot.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how in the world? And nobody was waking us up for school. Nobody was cooking for us. Nobody, like, we literally was out on our own.
Yeah.
At 15. And just to see how these kids are crying and, you know, hooping and hollering about what they don't have at 15, and look at the 10-year-old boy. And I'm sure you had some challenges as well.
Yeah, I've been on my own since I was 16. Wow. I got my first apartment when I was 16.
Wow.
But I lived with my grandmother before that. But I had a job since I was 11.
Right. Wow.
I had a job since I was 11, a full-time job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And these kids is like, the way these kids are out here now, I really do feel for them. And that's why, you know, I like to mentor as much as I can and help out as much as I can. And I know you like to too. So you also have a basketball tournament.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Okay. I don't know. It's like I always get sucked up into stuff. It's like, you know, it's like they ask me stuff and I say no. My no don't mean nothing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Hunk came to me. Kingdom, they was having a lot of shootouts. Mm-hmm. And that was like their life. Kingdom was their life. And Hunk came to me. He was like, I want to introduce you to Honcho. Honcho is the one who runs Kingdom. Okay. He was like, Honcho wants to meet you. He wants you to sponsor Kingdom. And I was like, absolutely not. I didn't even say no. I was like, absolutely not. And he was like, Michelle, because I'm from 111th Street. Okay. So I used to go to Kingdom when I was younger. And we used to have fun. Okay. Like Honcho had that popping from back when. So when nobody started coming, it was just like a big thing. Because it was like, you know, it's always been packed since I was a kid. So he came to me again and I was like, no. So 6'5" does security. He came to me. He was like, Michelle, think about it. I was like, okay. So I went to the projects and I was like, listen, y'all. And there was about maybe like 30 kids in the project. I said, let me explain something to you. I was like, if I put my money up, y'all promise y'all gonna hold this down. We can't have no fighting. We can't have no arguing. We can't have no shootouts. Mm-hmm. And they was like, nah, word to my mother. You know how that goes. We promise, Michelle, if you put the money up, we're gonna do it. And I put the money up. And the tournament was amazing. Wow. It was amazing. Like, it was more crowded than not ever been, but it was back. Right. It was back to where it was. Right. And I sponsored it that year. And then the next year I sponsored. And then, you know how I get after a while. People, oh, she ain't from the projects. And I was like, you know, but this ain't even my thing. Like, I don't even like basketball. Yeah, I'm doing it to save the youth. So, take your stuff back. So, exactly. I wish them well, and they're doing extremely well. Yeah. And, you know, sometimes people just need that kick, but, this ain't my thing. So, it's like, y'all don't have to fight me for this, because you can have it. Yeah. The first time I went to Rucker, because it's at the Rucker, right? No. Kingdom is in Foster Projects. Oh, the Foster okay. Well, the first time I went to any of those basketball games, it was like in 94, 95, I think, when I first moved to New York. And it was amazing. Yeah. It was just energy, the vibe, yes. The love, and that's what Harlem used to be. Remember we used to have the block parties? Like, they took all of that stuff, and because it was more unity. And with the unity, it was less violence. So that's why I try to bring the unity back, where, you know, big basketball games and parties and gatherings, because unity X out the violence. Yeah. Yeah. So tell me about a childhood experience that changed your life. Christmas was so dear to me, because that was like the only time it was about me. Like, I really got gifts on Christmas from my grandmother that lived in your projects. And, you know, because I was living with my grandmother, and my grandmother, she was raising all her kids. So she was on a Social Security check. And she had me, my cousin Ron, she had about 10 kids. So, of course, she's not going to buy birthday and Christmas and all that stuff. So my father's mother always made Christmas good for me. So this one year, my brother, he was supposed to bring me gifts. And every day I would go to my cousin Rhonda and Tiffany's house. And we would open up the gifts there. So we sitting there waiting. No gifts come. my grandmother called me. She was like, Michelle, you're so unappreciative. I'm like, unappreciative? She was like, why you didn't call and say thank you for my gifts? Your gifts. I was like, because I didn't get nothing. She's like, what? I'm calling Mikey. I've been sent Mikey over there. Mikey back here now. That's my brother. And it's so sad because I never liked my brother from there. So she was like, Mikey. She's like, Mikey, where's Michelle Gifts? He said, oh, it was a crackhead downstairs. I told the crackhead to take it upstairs to her.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
So they stole
all your
my gifts. All my gifts. And instead of being mad at him for doing it, she told me off. What the F and this and that. And I hated Christmas. I hated her. And I hated him.
Oh.
So I was like, oh no. I was like, I'm never going to put in a position to where I can let somebody hurt me like that again. Because I was livid. So I watched, and the good thing about it is I've never been a jealous person. So my cousin Rhonda and Tiffany, they had their toys, they opened them, and I still was happy for them. And my cousin LaRonda, Rhonda, LaRonda called my grandmother, and my grandmother was so mean. Nobody said smart stuff to her. And my grandmother called her. She was like, Michelle's father is dead and her mother's on drugs and that's all she got. And you going to scream and not buy her nothing for Christmas? And she was like, okay. And my grandmother came and she took me to Lazarus on 116th Street. She bought me some stuff and a couple of toys, but she was so mean with it.
Yeah.
And it was like, sometimes you could give something, but if they don't feel the love and stuff behind the gift, you might as well keep the gift.
It, yeah.
So it was like, okay. And it bothered me so much. And I was just like, you know what? I'm never going to put myself in a position like that.
Yeah.
I think I was like 13. And I hated Christmas.
Right.
Every year I hated Christmas. And then when I got old enough, I started to make sure kids didn't feel what I felt. And now Christmas is my best holiday.
Right.
Like, I love Christmas.
And you're making a difference.
I look forward to Christmas.
Wow.
I look forward. So people don't realize, they be thinking I do it for something. I do it for therapy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to see a psychiatrist for that. Because, I was going through like a depression.
Yeah.
And now that's the therapy that just clears me. So when they see the joy, it's really a joy because I overcame, what was breaking me.
Exactly.
So I'm not in bondage of that anymore.
I love that. I really, really do love that because I had made it a bond in my household that I would never buy my kids more than I could really afford. Meaning that if I didn't have the money, I could borrow the money to make their Christmas right. So they'll get 2 or 3 things, but my kids get stuff all the time.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, they get stuff all the time. So, but my mother, I can remember a Christmas. I told you that to tell you this. I can remember a Christmas when my mother just could not get us anything. That's the only Christmas that I remember. I don't remember all the ones
the
where
nice stuff.
You remember my mother used to have stuff to the floor from the floor to the front door of toys and clothes and coats and all this stuff. But this one Christmas that she just couldn't do it, I just never forgot it. And I was like, I'm never going to do this to my kids. I'm never going to be, overdoing this for my, and so I just never overdid it for them. They never really got like a abundance of things like that. Whatever they ask for, I make sure that I get, but never like, so much that I couldn't, I didn't want to break their hearts. Right. I didn't want to break their hearts because I don't know what was going on. What could possibly happen? Because it was just me. I was a single parent twice. So it's like, dads were around, but, not around. It's like
up and down.
You know what I'm saying?
And my thing was a little bit different. I tried to give them what I didn't have.
Right.
So I would buy them Pradas and all of that stuff. Like my kids always had the Pradas and all that stuff, but they didn't know. They ate. I didn't even eat. I starved myself so they could eat. Yeah. So they could be good. So they didn't know. And then I used to gamble a lot, like literally gamble, like gambling fed them.
Right, though.
So you might not see a lot of money today, but tomorrow you're not going to see it. So I lived my life with gambling.
Right.
And I told him, and then it's so sad because some of my youngest son, he gambles, but see, it's a different gamble. See, I gamble to survive. You gamble to gamble, so it's a totally different gamble.
It's a totally different
I
gamble.
couldn't lose.
Right.
So I put in the universe that I'm going to win, and I won.
Right.
You just gambling,
They
so
just
that's why you're
gambling.
losing. It's a totally different gamble.
I like that. I couldn't lose.
Yeah, I couldn't.
It was no plan B.
It wasn't no plan B.
No plan B. You had to win.
I had to win. And it was just like God. I mean, I'm telling you, it was just like so many situations. It was like God.
Wow.
And it's like, thank you, God.
Wow. You know, you never know a person's story. You really never know a person's story. Because when you see, I feel like Instagram allow us to be somebody that we're not.
Right.
And then when you actually meet the person, you know, and get to spend time with them and talk to them, you really realize that, oh, Instagram is not a liar. Like,
Right.
this person is really this person. Like, she really came in here with all her things. You know? It's like, these are really all of her things. Because you know how people be like, oh, let me hold that coat. Let me take a picture in front of your car. Let me take a picture in your house. And the things don't really belong to them.
Yeah. And, you know, the only thing about me is different is because I have things, but things don't mean nothing to me. You know, when you come from nothing, it's like, it's a blessing, but then it's like, okay, like, I don't.
And unless people really know your story and they hear you talk and see all the things that you do for so many people, nobody would really believe that you came from nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Nobody.
Like literally nothing. And it was just, you know, my mother was going through like a depression because my father was murdered when I was 1.
Okay.
So she was on drugs. My mother and then my grandmother had a whole house full of kids.
Right.
So it was like, So once I got 11, it was like, you know, I'm not going to keep coming here. And my aunt, Linda, she got me a job selling socks. And it was good at the laundromat, you know, with the racks, with the strings and with the paper clips they put on. So I used to be there and I was just like, it started getting embarrassing because I loved the money. But when everybody from the school used to come, I used to hide around behind the rack because I didn't want nobody to see me selling socks.
Right.
But then I turned 15. When I turned 15, Patsy, it was a lady named Patsy. She's not even my aunt. She's my cousin's aunt. And she just took a good liking to me. So I used to babysit her kid. I started off babysitting. She used to give me $250 a week for babysitting. Then I used to bag smoke for her. And once I started bagging smoke for her, she was like, that was it.
That was it.
And I felt grown enough to where I could go out of town. I would transport. I would, and she was just like so amazing because I've never seen a Black woman with $1 million cash.
Right.
And she was just, I don't know. And she was so humble.
Right.
Like she would go outside and do the things that she wanted, but she was so humble. But she took a liking to me. And everything was up, and she ended up having a home invasion. And they hit her in the head with a gun and whatever the case may be. So she was out of commission for a while. So she was like, Michelle, I don't want you around this. And I'm like, what do you mean?
You in it now. I'm in it now.
And she was like, no, I don't want this for you no more, whatever the case may be. And I'm like, no, you're bugging. So she stopped hustling with me. And when she stopped hustling with me, I was just like, oh God, I gotta go be a bum again. I was like, nah, I gotta figure this out. So, you know, I started hustling on my own. I didn't tell her.
Okay.
But she gave me my own apartment.
Okay.
And then she moved down south. And then when she moved down south, you know, I was just like pretty much on my own. And then people don't realize, they be like, you know, you're 16, you can't just get a job. You don't have, you're not 18, you don't have the papers, you don't have all of those things. So people say all of these things, but it's not realistic. And that's why I go so hard for the kids because, I mean, I'm in an apartment, I'm 16 years old, how am I going to pay the rent?
Right.
So that's where the hustling and the selling drugs and all that stuff came in. So it's like, you know, when people judge people, I'm like, you know, sometimes people do things because they have to, not because they want to.
Right. So how did you finally leave the street though?
I moved down south.
You said it was over.
No. Oh, okay.
When you say it's over, I'm not doing this no more.
Okay, no. From there, like I up here, my mother was on drugs. So when she would get into stuff with people, And, you know, all the boys around the block loved me because everybody stayed in my house. Like, we grew up like a sister and brotherhood.
Right.
So when I be saying my bro, it's like really my bro because we grew up together with nothing.
Right.
So that's where the love come from. So my mother had got into it with a guy, and one of my friends shot him. And I was like, you know what? Let me leave because I'm going to get them into some trouble that I don't want them to be in.
Right.
So I moved to North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina, I get into a whole bunch of stuff. I end up shooting my daughter's grandmother. Me and her had a problem.
Oh my goodness.
So I went for that. I had a shootout with my cousin Rika. She had a boyfriend.
This don't even match. Like this story that you're telling me right now does not even match this woman that I see and I know today.
God.
It ain't not but God.
It's a God. So we had that, and so then I started hustling in Tennessee. And in Tennessee, we would gamble, and I would give them work. And one day, the police came, and I had a whole bunch of drugs on me, but while we were gambling. And when they came up, I was the only girl, and it was like 9 guys. And I took the drugs and I put it under my shoe right before they came there. It was just like enough for them. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, God, if you get me out of this, you don't have to worry about this. I promise you ain't got to worry about this if you get me out of this one. So they put all the guys in the paddy wagon and I'm standing with drugs under my feet. And he was like, you know, we don't have no room for a girl. He was like, so we're going to let you go. So I'm like, okay, but I can't move because I have the stuff under my foot. So he's like, you free to go. I was like, oh no, I'm waiting for somebody to come and pick me up. And when the car moved, I picked the drugs up from under my foot. I gave it away.
Wow.
And I was like, that was it for me.
And that was it for you.
That was it for me for a long time. Because I had to call God again. You got to call God again. So when I was like, you know what, that's it for me. The whole North Carolina is over. So I moved back to New York. Okay. So when I moved back to New York, you know, again, it started new. So I started transporting. And I was going back and forth to Jamaica. And then after I went, Tuna and a girl named Karen, they went. And Karen's mother put an APB out on her. So they got caught in customs. And when they got caught in customs, Tuna didn't tell. They told on me. But Tuna wouldn't tell, so they couldn't arrest me because Tuna never told. That's my son's godmother. She's never told on me. So she did a couple years. And then me, I'm like, okay, I still gonna do it. So I did it one more time, and it was my sister. I took my sister with me. God forgive me. She didn't know. I just told her that I was taking her on.
She didn't know what was happening.
She didn't know what was going on. I just told her I was taking her on a trip for her graduation.
Right. Okay.
And I took her to Jamaica. I bought a whole bunch of stuff or whatever the case may be. And when we come back, customs stopped us.
Okay.
And I'm like, God, I promise you.
Again?
This is the real time.
She promising God again?
I was like, if you get me out of this, and she's not nervous at all.
Oh, because she don't know what's going on.
She don't know I got my bag full of drugs and her bag full of drugs. So she don't have a clue. She doesn't know. So she's not nervous. She's not nothing because she don't have a clue. So I'm just sitting there and I'm like, oh God, just do this for me, please. Please do this for me. Do this one for me. And they was like, y'all free to go. After they checked the bag, everything, didn't do it. So we went through it. And I was like, you know what? That was it. So we went to my mother's house. And when we went to my mother's house, she got her letter for corrections. And it was like she approved and she got the job. I was like, oh my God, I would have fucked this girl life up for good. Wow. You know, yeah, of course I was going to take the charge. Yeah. But it's just that even putting somebody in that type of situation because I don't tell people my business. And I was like, you know what? That's it for me. Wow. And that was it for me. And yeah.
Because they said 3 strikes you out.
Yeah. That was it. The whole drug thing.
Wow.
With Hogan, that was it. I was like, you know, forget me. I'm gonna ruin somebody else's life, and that was the breaking point. And then I waited maybe like 8 months. my guilt. Like, I'm one of them people that, like, I did it. Well, I forget I did it.
Yeah.
I told her, I was like, when I took you to Jamaica for what's the name? I was like, I had drugs in your bag. And
Wow.
I don't.
Wow. So I know that you was writing and you didn't and sending your writings to Dame Dash.
Right.
And he didn't even know how well you could write.
Yeah.
And how crazy your story was.
Yeah.
So how was he even reading this stuff?
Dame is I love Dame. Dame is like one of my best brothers because he would call me and he would ask me something about like something street. And he would say, the way that I think is totally different from the way that people think.
Right.
So he was like, Michelle, a situation had happened. And I didn't tell him. The guy had told him. Or because old man for us.
Yes.
Old man for us is like one of my best friends. And somebody had borrowed money and took my money. So Frost was like, oh, I'm going Tom. And I was like, no, I don't need people to respect me for you. They need to respect me for me.
For me.
So me and Frost is together and we seen a person. So Frost is getting out the car and I'm like, I'm not even opening up the door where people could think they could violate me because you might not be around.
Right.
So again, I went and got my gun.
I was going to say, he don't know that you're going to get your respect.
And I was like, you're going to give me my money. He gave me my money. And Frost laughed about it. And he ended up telling Dame.
Wow.
Like maybe 3 years later. So Dame knew the story. And I'm like, how did he know? Because, that's not something I'm going to broadcast.
Yeah. And
Dame called me on it. And then he was like, tell me more. And then, I had a big home invasion. And and then so it was just like he was like telling me this and tell me this and tell me this and tell me that, and next thing you know we had a whole book.
Wow.
And then the book was just for me to have therapy. It wasn't supposed to be published.
Oh, okay.
And then Damon, he not a sucker people into stuff.
Right, yeah.
So he was like, you can help all of these kids and this and that and that. Well, just let one little girl read your book and it was like a shelter event. And it was a troubled teen. And she read my book and she cried. Like she was so hard. She cried. And he was like, well, let one more. It's like a sucker move. Yeah. He just kept sucking me into it. And then that's how Queen of Harlem Commandments came out.
Wow, Queen of Harlem Commandments. This is cool. The first book I ever read was True to the Game.
Okay.
The first book I ever read. And I was reading that book, and when I'm gonna tell you, it was so much of my life. And I was like, who is this lady? Like, who is this lady? Like, why does she, because it's like things that I hadn't even talked to people about, but not realizing that I'm not in this shit alone.
And that's be the therapy and that's be the refreshness to these youth. And that's why I go so hard for them because my story is not good, and I have not always been a good person. So I understand their negativity, and sometimes you don't want to be negative. You're just in that environment. You don't know any better, so you can't do better because you don't know better. So once I knew, I started doing better.
I like that you said that I wasn't always a good person. Like I have a girlfriend that she's really working hard on changing her life, right? Just being nicer to people, being more generous to people, being more open to people. And it's just like just hearing you say that, like in admitting that, I wasn't always a good person, but I'm different now. Like I would not have never known any had you not told the story, right? So I mean, I think it's a fantastic story. It's really a fantastic story. So y'all got to make sure y'all get this. The Queen of Harlem Commandments. This is it's like a life of a person, and these things are so real. It's real. It's authentic. And you were very intentional. Well, not really intentional because you didn't even know you was writing a book.
I didn't even know I was writing a book.
You got suckered in.
Dame Dash, shout out to Dame Dash. That's who suckered me into writing a book.
Oh my God.
And then it was so weird because it was just for that. And next I was Amazon #1 seller.
That is fantastic.
And it was by accident.
By accident. Look at the things that happen by accident.
Yeah, by accident. So that's why I just be like, people don't understand. It's like sometimes I'll just be like, I'll stop and just like, thank you, God.
Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
Like, it's just always
he spared you 3 times.
Yeah, more than that.
More than that.
Way more. Like so many situations happen, and it's like, you know what? I always come out Like, I just have to thank God.
Yeah. Yeah. If we're not there for ourselves, God is there for us.
Yeah, truly.
For
I
real.
can definitely admit that.
For real. Because I always say I felt like I had a guardian angel. You know, I came to New York. When I moved to New York in 93, you know, I was green as hell. Green as hell. My homegirl had me, she was my friend. I thought she was my friend. And she had me thinking that we were going to do a movie at Rikers Island. And she asked me to put some drugs in my bra. And I said, is that's the part of the movie? She said no, because John Singleton want us to do that. This is how we gotta be. This is how we gotta be. And I'm just as green as I want to be. And thank you, G. And I said, Lord, I didn't know to be scared. Because I didn't think I was doing anything wrong.
Right.
Just like your sister. She didn't even know to be scared.
Right.
I didn't know to be scared. And I also didn't think that people just are out to hurt me and just out to better themselves and just forget me.
On somebody,
you know. And I was like, oh, so why he want you to do it? He said, no, I'm the girlfriend, and then you're my friend, bringing, you know. And I'm listening to this crazy ass story that she's telling me, like at this big age. Like even when I think about it, it just kind of brings tears to my eyes.
Yeah,
because I could have been like. She could have changed my whole life.
100%.
The same thing you said about your sister. Like she could have changed her whole life. She could have changed my whole life. I could not even be here, sitting here with you today, having a salon, you know, being able to give out to people, even having my kids. It would have changed my entire life. And this girl got me going up in Rikers Island, doing something I'm not supposed to be doing. And I'm thinking I'm doing a damn movie. I'm thinking I'm doing a movie. Yeah, and it's just crazy. Yeah, like so for the kids, like what can you say to these kids?
Yeah, the thing about it is everybody have their time. The biggest thing in Harlem is that people are jealous of one another. When for what? Like for what? It's jealousy. You're going to get things that's like you tried so hard to build all these things, and when you get them, it's just things. When I bought my first BMW, it was like, oh, she got a BMW. After a while, she got a BMW. You understand? It's like, it's just things. I
didn't understand it either, because when I came here, you know, I had a car, you know, and my ex-husband had cars, and I really didn't even know who. Honestly, it's like when you know people, I didn't know anybody that knew him, so I didn't know what
the magnitude that he was at, right?
No, I did not know. So it was just like, so I guess that was like the thing that drawed us together, because I wasn't like, I didn't know who, you know, I just thought that this is, you know, I never had anybody to take care of me like that ever in my whole life, you know. So I'm just like, oh, this is
life.
Yeah, this is life. You know, until things happen and it shows you something, and life shows you something different.
Yeah, when life start life and
what the world be whirling and the people be peopling, and it's just, you know, it turns into a whole different thing. I know that you had that those type of experiences also. So it's just
you never know. I mean, people show you who they are.
Yeah,
and that's why I said
and you believe them.
Yeah,
you gotta believe.
I don't have no expectations on people. I love you, but I mean, you're not gonna tell me that you're not gonna do this, and I'm gonna believe it.
Right.
Show me.
And
then if you become yourself, I don't care.
So you got another book here.
Yes.
This one is new.
Yes, that's the it's actually a #1 right now too.
Control Your Emotions. I like this.
Yes, that's my biggest one, because you know I was very.
Oh, it's a workbook.
Yeah. My biggest thing was
it's great.
Reacting on everything. I didn't know how to not react, and it's not about the situation, is about how you handle the situation. So once I was able to control my emotions and not let people make me mad, or like people could do something and I just look at them like they stupid. Like I'm not gonna. So my whole life is now based on controlling my emotions.
Right. Because I think my dad told me all the time, it says you can learn how to respond and not react.
Right.
Because when you react, you're going to find yourself in a place, because I always tell people, you know, I just taught a class in Taconic prison.
Okay.
Taconic. Is it Taconic?
Okay, I used to go there. Taconic, yeah.
Taconic prison on Monday.
And that was
the thing. Oh, really? Okay. And that was the thing that I you know, was teaching in my class. I was like, you're one decision away from a different life.
Yeah.
Right or left.
Right.
One decision away. And if you can't make that decision and make a good decision and have that discernment for yourself, you're going to find yourself where you at now. This is what I told the ladies in prison. You find yourself where you are now.
Yeah.
And they was just looking like, wow.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you,
Wow.
it's so powerful to be able to control your emotions.
100%.
And it's not as easy as it sounds.
Right.
So
No,
you got to go
it's
through.
not easy.
Yeah, at all. So you have to go
because
through.
you'll be pulling your gun out.
Yeah.
And you got
But I've learned when they told me that that's it for you, ma'am.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, a lot of things I've done because I had to.
Right.
In my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's just like, I love the free life. I love no problems. I love no drama.
Right.
Like, I mean, my friends will tell you, because I've always hung with older girls. They would tell you, they would gossip about people. I would go in there and go to sleep. I never really was into
that.
I'm never big on that. Like, I can't sit there and have a whole conversation about another woman.
Right. Right.
It's just not in me.
Like for what?
Yeah. It's
like for what?
Like,
what are we gonna get out of that?
Yeah.
I want to know, like, how can we help her then?
Yeah. How we gonna get some money? Where's she get money from? Let me show you this right.
Exactly.
So the way I think is just totally different from some people.
Right. Right. Well, I like it. I'm blown away. I really am. I'm blown away. Like I was reading, your forwards and everything, and your relationship with Dame and the pastor and all the people.
Pastor.
Yeah,
pastor. Because it was like one time. You know how when something is going wrong, it's like everything keep going wrong. So this is when I like transfer over. Like God was like, get a job. I got a job in the shelter system. And when I got in the job in the shelter system, they treated me crazy because I already had a house. I already had a BMW. So it's like, but when I started working for them, I only was making like $18 an hour. So it was like, treat me, this young girl coming here and how she have this and how she had that. She's a drug dealer. But I was previously, but not now.
I was previously.
So I changed my whole life around. So I mean, like I said, reality sat in. So now I have a regular life.
Right.
So my car's in foreclosure. I'm sorry, my car got repoed. My house is in foreclosure. And I'm like, yo, what else could happen? What else could happen? And every time I kept asking God, what else could happen? Something else would go wrong. So we put in for...
It's the power of words, though.
We put in for a loan modification. And Pastor Mike... he seen I was going, because one day I just went to church and I just cried. It was like, I don't know, whatever word, I can't even remember the words he was saying, but whatever word he said, I just screamed out and cried. Like literally cried. So he called me the next day. When he called me the next day, it was like maybe like 5 in the morning. And when he called me, he was on a prayer line. So it was like 100, I think it was like 150 people on that one prayer line. And they were praying for me, praying. And one lady, she's never even met me. She was like, you have to stop putting so much negative energy in the atmosphere. She said, when you say something going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong. She was like, change the way that you pray. And that day I went on a prayer line, maybe like 3 days after that. And then she told me, then Pastor was like, put your Bible on 91 Psalms. So every Bible that I have, like in my car or whatever it is on 91 Psalms. And when I say things just start changing, it just like did a 360. Like I said, I got a promotion at the job. When I got the promotion at the job, me with my kind self, a lady was moving. And she needed $3,000 to move. And I was like, I gave her the money. About maybe like 2 months later, she came back to the shelter. She was like, I couldn't afford this apartment. Michelle Smalls gave me the money for the apartment. That was against company rules. You can't give clients money.
You can't give them money.
And she was like, I can't even afford this. And if she wouldn't have put me in this position, I wouldn't be here. And the director said, there's no gray area with that. She said, but Michelle, you're a very good person. She said, so I'm not going to fire you. I'm going to let you resign. She let me resign, and that was the best thing. I said, you know what? If they could just do that to me like that, I would never work for nobody again. And I've never worked for nobody again.
Wow. You have had some very expensive lessons.
Yeah. I've never...
You have had some very expensive
Volunteers of America.
lessons.
I've never, and it's so weird because the supervisor, which was Mr. Benjamin, he told me they needed the numbers. So he told me to do all the stuff. And then when it crashed down, only me.
Wow.
I was everybody knew what was going on, but then when it came out, so I was like, you know what? I would never work in corporate again.
Wow. Well, how in the world do you do a favor for somebody and they come back and throw it in your face like you did something bad? That's crazy.
And then one of the brokers had tax issues. One of the brokers, her name was, and I was dating somebody at the time. And she had tax issues, but she wanted to move all of these people. It was like she had like 15 move-ins. And I was like, I went downstairs. I was like, you know, Brenda got tax issues. He was like, Michelle, get her a payee. We get her a payee, but she still got her money. But being that I knew the payee, they was like, oh, I was like, y'all told me to do this. And
That's
all that.
crazy.
So they couldn't fire me because of that, because he told me to do it. But then it was just something. So I was like, you know what? I'm never putting my life into people's hands. So, for what, 17 years, I've had my own business. I've never worked for nobody again.
I love it.
And I never will. I never will.
I've never worked for. I've been an entrepreneur all my life. I never worked for anybody.
Yeah, they get weird.
And it's like, and once you get a taste of it, you will never go back to corporate.
Yeah, it be
You'll
ups
never
and
go back.
downs.
It is ups and downs, but you're working for yourself and you're pushing for yourself.
Right.
And you're up 24 hours a day, sometimes working 12 hours a day, or 7 days a week, but you're doing it for yourself.
Yeah. So.
Right? And the same energy that you put in and getting that check, you can put the exact same energy in for getting something started for yourself.
Exactly.
Trust me.
Yeah. So that's why I never work. And I definitely try to coach people to get in their own business. I mean, it's not perfect all the time. And it's good to have multiple, because it's sometimes where this one thing don't do good. Like the juice bar might not do good, but the real estate is booming.
Right.
Real estate might not be doing good, but then the juice bar is booming.
Yeah.
So,
I like the multiple streams of income.
Yeah.
I love the multiple streams of income.
You have to. That's the only way you can survive.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's with multiple streams of income.
Because everything is not going to be booming all the time.
Exactly.
It's not. Well, this was good, Michelle. I loved it. I'm so happy you came.
Oh, I'm happy I came.
Yes, I just got one more question for you.
Okay.
When in your life do you find yourself saying shit ain't the same?
All the time now.
All the time.
It's not the same because it's like everything is not the same. The men is not the same.
Tell me about it.
It's like the finances is not the same, and
parenting is not the same.
Parenting is not the same. I mean, all these women create an illusion because they asked me to be on a panel, and I was like, okay. I was like, it's for Black women. I'm not gonna get paid, but I'll go. So it's 8 women on the panel. I'm not gonna say their names.
Okay.
But they were talking about home ownership, and they were charging $150 for the class.
Okay.
So
charging the women.
Yeah.
The people that came.
Yeah. So it was over 1,000 people there.
And they didn't pay y'all?
Huh?
They didn't pay y'all?
I agreed to do it.
Yeah, I understand.
So I'm talking to the back, one of the girls in the back, and I'm like, how was your closing? Because I have a house in Jersey, but I closed in another place in Bingleton and in Jersey at this time. Another one in Jersey. She was like, oh, I ain't do a closing, I paid cash. I said, you paid cash? She said she paid cash for ours. I was like, so what lawyers did you use or whatever? Because I was just getting the information for the new place to see if I get anything cheaper. And these women supposed to have like hundreds of millions and all of this stuff. And I'm like, and I was supposed to be like the lowest one there. And when we got to talking, I realized, so then after that, I'm like, you know what? This don't make no sense. Check the property. She didn't own the property. So it's like everything is a freaking illusion. Like all of this stuff is just like an illusion. Y'all selling stuff that you don't even have. And, like everything is just fake.
Yeah.
And that's why I just like to separate myself from the fake. Now we can tell these people how to own houses and we have all these million things and we don't really have them. And you're charging them for that.
Yeah.
So I've learned it's just not the same. It's like social media is a good thing and it is a burden. It is such a bad thing because, I mean, they got people believing things that's just not.
That's not true. And I have to tell my kids all the time.
Like you have other people chasing something that don't even exist.
Mm-hmm. You know what I did one time? I ordered some fake money off of Amazon, and I put it in, and I gave it to my son. And he was like, oh my God. He was just going. I said, yeah. I said, you see how this money look? It look real, right? This money is fake. This is that same money that you see people that got up to their ear and they on the phone like talking to their money. Yeah. That money is fake, Chance. It's
and they got, I love Chance. I love Chance. They got these.
But
kids.
I have to tell them, and we have to school them, and it just be
they're
like
chasing an illusion.
They are chasing an illusion. Please say that again.
Yeah, they are chasing an illusion.
They are. And it's
that's
like
the reason why
I just,
because I don't like the front. I don't like all of that stuff. But I come out because it's just like they make this stuff and it's just not real.
Yeah, it's not real.
It's not real.
It's not real. Please stop chasing the illusion.
Yes, that's
the stuff that you see on social media is not real.
Yeah. And do your own pace.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, I mean, my walk was a lot slower than a lot of people's, but I surpassed them.
Yes.
You know, you got to do what works for you. Like, I'm not jumping into something that just don't work for me just to please somebody else.
Right. And what happens when you skip steps? You fall.
You fall.
And then you got to do those steps anyway.
Yeah.
Every single time you skip a step, you fall.
And then you got to go back.
And then you got to go back and do the steps anyway. So relax. Take your own pace. Like Michelle said, take your own pace. Take your time. And people say, oh, I ain't got time. No, you ain't got nothing but time. Because what happens is that if you don't take your time, you wind up spending more money than you need to spend.
Exactly. And I learned that the hard way.
All the bad information. Me too.
And listen to yourself. I don't, like, sometimes when there's something important, I go to God. I tune people out. And I just go to God.
Just go to God. Yeah. And it ain't nowhere else to go but to God. Because when you talking to him, he's going to send you a person.
Yeah.
He's going to send you a person. He's going to send you a thing. He's going to send you an idea. This is the conversation that I have with my kids. Have a conversation with God. The answer is going to come. I don't have all the answers.
At all.
You know, Instagram don't have all the answers. TikTok, all the things, Lemonade, all the things that's coming out now, they don't have all the answers. These people, all they have is illusions.
Yeah.
And all they have is an idea.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And tell you how to spend your money when they ain't got nothing.
And they ain't got nothing. And you done met some people that teaching people how to spend their money and ain't got none. This is like teaching people how to do hair. You can't do no damn.
Exactly.
It's like
I'm telling you, it's an illusion. And that's the thing. Like, you know, before things was just more real.
Right.
Like if a nigga say he got some bread, he got some bread.
He got some bread.
If he ain't got nothing, he ain't got nothing. It's just
they can pretend and I'm gonna be honest with you, they can pretend for a long time.
Yes.
It is the craziest thing.
And then
because people learn to be very clever in their delivery and how they dealing with you. And you
so they start believing it themselves.
100%. 100%. And you thinking that they got this money and they doing this and they doing that, and you won't realize that you're spending your money.
Yeah. I would say, I'm too cheap. I just be like,
I'm too cheap.
They better ask me for nothing. Amanda don't ask me for, like my brothers, and I'm like,
no.
You ain't got it, me either. I'm definitely the me either type.
Yeah.
Because I don't give, Even when the person gave me money, it's like, when they went broke, you got to figure it out. You know, that's the reason why I left you, because you ain't got it no more.
You ain't got it. I see.
So that's what's that.
Don't be afraid to move. Don't be afraid to move and shake.
On, because sometimes it don't get better; it just get worse.
It just get worse. And people, and especially when you with people and you marry people and do everything, it's not going to change. Yeah. It's not going to change. People are just who they are, and that's it. And you can't change people.
Yeah. So the dating is so horrible because it's so weird. I was doing a medical study with these people. Like you scared to date because these men are sick.
Yeah.
Like sick. Like, I mean, I lived through so many things. I'm not dying over no nasty nigga. Like, I'm sorry. Yeah. It's just not gonna happen. I'm sorry. It's not.
You done lived through a lot of shit to die over nasty.
Yeah, so that's why I date with caution.
Yeah, you have to. You have to.
Because they are, I mean, I'm telling you, the population is bad with sickness.
Yeah.
And they don't take it serious at all. like at all.
They don't. They don't. But this was good, Michelle. Again,
wow.
look, I thought we was finished before, but now we're really finished.
Yes.
But this was good. Please make sure y'all pick up her books, Queen of Harlem, Commandments, and Control Your Emotions. Fantastic. They both on Amazon. Make sure y'all pick them up. We're gonna put the information to get these books at the end and in the notes. But this has been great.
It's definitely been great. And
thanks for coming.
Thank you for inspiring. Because see, you inspire. You didn't even know you was inspired.
Don't even know. But thank you for coming, Michelle. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So this has been Shit Ain't the Same. Till next time.
And I love the title. The title is amazing.